Croatia! What's up, SaaStanak? Give it up for Leo, give it up for Igor. This stage wasn't even here last night. They put it together immediately last night within 4 hours. Give it up. This conference is going to be awesome. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cunningham. Yes, one of the original four who started ClickUp. ClickUp is a project management software company. We've had a pretty wild journey. It's been quite the ride. And yes, we went to 300 million. So I want to do something different for this speech. I got together with our CEO, our COO, our early founding team, and I said, look, times are getting tough with AI. So when I go speak at this next couple conferences on this wave of tours, I want to tell them exactly how we did this. I want to go step by step how we did it. And luckily we have a tool so I could go back and look and see what we did. So we'll break it down into 3 phases, 0 to 5 million. That's the hardest, right? That's where you're really going to dive in. Then from 5 million to 100 million. Then from 100 million to 300 million. So I'm going to break this down into 3 phases, and I'm going to dive into every little part. But before I do, I just want you to understand the story. I want you to understand where we started from, right? So we're just a couple people from small town, Virginia, North Carolina. We had no idea what we were doing. We were outsiders to this whole tech Silicon Valley thing. And this wasn't the original mission. ClickUp wasn't where we started. We actually had an agency. And this agency was a social media agency. We were making a lot of money. We were doing great. Everything was perfect. And in this agency, we really learned. We met a lot of famous people. We understood business. And I thought this was our play. I thought this was a go. Until one day, our CEO, Zeb, had a near-death experience. Very traumatic. I won't go into the details, but he came back from that a different person. And when he came to us, the first things he said was, number one, we're shutting down the agency. I'm thinking, what? We're going to shut down the agency that makes $500 or $600K a month? Like, that makes no sense to me. And he says, number two, we're going to move to California. And I don't understand any of this at the time, but looking back, when you really want to dive into something, it's good to have an agency, it's good to learn business, but you got to burn the boats. You got to dive in. So we decided, like any good company, you have to solve a problem. He wanted to do something bigger. He wanted to be more than just these people who built social media followers and grew likes and grew engagement. And in that, we saw a problem. We saw a fatal flaw. So we decided to go after social media. At the time, social media, there's always a giant. There's always someone winning, and they're always doing something wrong. No matter what space you're in, they're always doing something wrong. At the time, for us, it was an app called Snapchat. If you remember Snapchat, none of us probably use it here anymore, but Snapchat was an app that would erase your memories in 7 seconds. The best things you have in your life were gone, just like that. We wanted to create an app that would save your life, that would save your memories. And to be honest, I thought this was it. I thought this was going to be our big play. It was hot. We dropped the app. We had a lot of downloads. I told all my friends. I told everyone about it. I thought this was the play. And then one morning we wake up, and Snapchat creates Snapchat memories. Just completely ripped us off. We lost all our money. We honestly lost everything. And I don't know if you know what that feels like, but I want you to understand that I left my big corporate job to go do this with my friends from college. My parents told me I was crazy. My friends told us, hey, you're never going to make it in social media. It's a very hard thing to do. So I don't know if you know what it feels like to fail publicly, to tell everyone, hey, I'm going to build this. I want you to download this. Please support me. It's going to be the biggest app. And then everyone sees you fail. It sucks. It doesn't feel that good. And honestly, I don't wish it upon anyone here. But then again, maybe I do. Because that is what lit a fire under us. And what I want you to understand is every single part of this playbook that happened, again, we didn't come from Silicon Valley. We didn't have mentors. We didn't understand anything about tech. We were outsiders. But we had a why. We had a reason to win. Because we knew that we were not going to go back, and there's no way we're going to look our friends, our family. I was not going to look my sister and all them in the eye again and tell them I failed a second time. And I wasn't going to go back to working a normal corporate job. I'm like all of you. I want to be a founder. I want to build something. So you understand my why. Now, I want to break down how we did it. It's very unconventional. There's some things you're going to know, but I want you to see exactly how we did it so you can find ways in your business to do the same. And I'm also going to incorporate, because you are lucky. When we did this 10 years ago, we didn't have AI. AI was not here at all. So a lot of these things I show you, we can do faster. I'll tell you how you can do it with AI. But now we're going to start from 0 to 5 million, right? It's just a couple moves. Nothing that insane, but you got to be very aggressive. You got to be obsessed. First, you know this, you need to solve a problem. You've got to solve something, right? That's what we did with memory, and that's what we did with our next problem. Then you got to build a great product. That's key. If you can't build a great product, I can't help you there. You have AI. You got to figure that out. Get some good engineers, and then you got to get product market fit. I know Wes will agree with me here. You got to get product market fit. So this is what you do to start. At the beginning, the problem that we saw was project management. Because we were living in Palo Alto at the time. And mind you that across the street, we had the CTO of Facebook, the CEO of Intel. All these people were there across from us, and we learned one thing. They were all using so many different tools. They were using Asana for the marketers. They were using Jira for development, Trello for anyone who didn't know project management, and that made no sense to us. Why would you have all these different tools? Miro for whiteboards, Notion for docs. Nothing made sense. So that was a mission we attacked. And then as we attacked, we realized we needed customers, right? And at the beginning, you need to do every single thing you can to get customers. And I mean everything. And I'm going to tell you the ways we did it. The first thing we did was we built a tool called AppGator. And what AppGator would do, very simple, you can vibe code this now in no time, but it took us a long time to build. AppGator would simply go through and look at Capterra. It would look at GitApp. And anytime someone left a 2-star review or below, I'm getting notified. Like he said earlier, I was their first sales rep. I had to get 17 million in sales, and I didn't do that just on my own. No one cared about ClickUp at the beginning. So what I would do is, when this lead would come in, hey, here's John from DataFox, and he left Asana a 1-star review. Hey, John, I understand that you hate Asana. I hate Asana too. I think they suck. Let me give you ClickUp free and show you why I think we're better. And I want you to build with us along the journey. That was a big tool for us. And now you could vibe code that very easily. I can show you guys after. But you can build an agent, scrape, look at all these. These are live customers. Why would you not go after them? They just left a competitor. They just said they don't like a competitor. That's the most easy intent you can ever get. The second thing we did, there's a company called Productive. And back then, we were obsessed. I mean, we were working 5 days a week, stand up Monday through Friday at 5 a.m., and then 7 a.m. Saturday, 7 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. This was a lot of working for us. We were obsessed. I'm in every Facebook group. I'm in everything I can do. And I learned about this company called Productive. Productive is shutting down. And it's a project management software company. So imagine having all your work and being told, hey, we're going to shut this down. You're going to lose everything you have, everything you've worked on for the past few years. They were building no export for anybody. So our CTO, Alex, he stays up late. This is a scrappy play. He stays up late, and he builds this export within like 3 days. So I can hop into the Facebook group and say, hi, I'm Chris. I'll be your hero. You guys can all join ClickUp now. Follow this export. And that was a big day in ClickUp history because at that time, we didn't have a ton of customers. So we onboarded all of Productive's customers just from that one move from staying scrappy. And after that, that's when I had to hire our first sales solutions engineers and customer service reps. It was fast growth that we weren't ready for, but because we paid attention. And the last thing I'll say is DM everyone. You should be DMing all the time. There's no reason not to, whether it be webinars, whether it be reaching out. Add something of value, right? You need to add something of value and show up where your buyers are at any time you can. But now what are you going to do when you get these people on the platform? How are you going to help them? The first thing that I recommend is I really think you should give things away. I think you should give it away. And I get that not every software is like ours. We're on the freemium model, right? So the way it works at ClickUp is you sign up, no credit card, no timer, no friction. I want you to get in and use the platform. I want you to love the platform. I want you to get value out of the platform. I want you to get addicted to the platform. That's our key. And once you do that, then when you're using a certain feature enough, we'll hit you with a paywall. But you don't mind paying at that point because, of course, you're already using it. You're already locked in. You're seeing value. And in the early days of ClickUp, before we had all this in the freemium model, all we did was just give it away free. For the first year that it was out, we just gave it away free to everyone. We didn't even care. And then eventually we came back and we asked for money, and we didn't feel bad about that. Of course, we gave them a deal. I don't recommend doing some app sumo deal. Don't do that. You'll be locked in for life forever. But we gave them an awesome deal to show them we care and that we appreciate them coming on. But I highly recommend the freemium model. It really does work. Just let people fall in love and then go from there. So now you have people, now you have customers, now you're getting somewhere. You need to obsess. You need to obsess over these people who showed up. They're here for you. One, they're who you're going to learn the most from, right? So make them feel special. Talk to them. Reach out to them. Do things for them. Do webinars. But the key that you can do is you can ask for their input. One of the easiest things you can ever do is ask for their input. But where everyone messes up every single time is they send in these long surveys. We don't have any time, especially now, even 10 years ago. No one has time to do these things. But if you can ask them a very customized survey, right? 1 to 2 questions, not 14, 1 to 2. Just come in and say, hey, Mark, hey, John, hey, Aiden, we're thinking about adding this. What do you think about that? Would you do this or would you do this? Give them an A or B. Give them a choice. Make it really easy. You'd be shocked at how much people love it. And then send them the results back. Say, hey, you guys voted. 88% said they want this. We're building it. We'll ship it in 2 weeks. We'll see you back then. Now they're growing with you. Now they feel like they're a part of ClickUp, right? They feel like an early investor. They're giving you advice. You're taking it and you're putting it into place. People sleep on that. The next thing you do is let them know what you're building next. We use a tool called Canny. You can use whatever you want. But I think having people vote, having people get involved, because obviously as you grow, it's a different scale, is a big thing you can do. So let them vote, let them see what you're building. Now, I don't want to say you should build everything your customers tell you. At some point, you should know what they want to build. You should build that for them. And the last thing I'll top into is you need to interview them, right? If I'm going to make content for you, if I'm going to build for you, I need to understand you. And I'm not going to do that just by hanging out. Everyone says they know their ICP. But do you really know your ICP? You know their age, right? Oh, they're 30 to 45. Man, do you really know your ICP? You don't until you interview them. You don't until you talk to them. And they're not going to just write into you proactively. So what I would do is I would just ask for, hey, I know everyone needs content. So I would just go through our customer list or potential customer list, and I would hit them up. And I would say, hey, let's hop on a call. I'm going to use Riverside. I'm going to interview. I'm going to make a couple videos for your product. And I do that for the first 7-10 minutes. That gives me 2 or 3 shorts. Then from there, at the end, I'm getting a little selfish. Now, okay, I've made this video for you. You talk about your company. I'm going to chop it up. I'm going to edit it for you. But now I want to know something. What content do you watch? What makes you better at your job? What do you study to improve? What do you care about? That is how I know what content to make. And then also I can tell them straight up, what do you hate about my product? I'm not afraid to ask that. Everyone's going to hate something at all times. You can't be afraid to ask that. So dive in, interview your people. All right. So now you got some customers. You got a little buzz. Now you got to get noticed. Because if people don't know you outside of that network, word of mouth only goes but so fast. It's a lot of people. Word of mouth can't go but so fast. So what's one thing you can do? Be here. Be at conferences. You don't even have to sponsor. At the beginning, we had no money to sponsor. As you can see, what we would do is we would show up and we'd wear these loud, ridiculous purple suits. They were insane. They were so bright, you can't tell in the photo. These suits were ridiculous. You couldn't help but see us. Wear the suit, show up at the conference, be a little bit loud. These are things we had to do early on. We were in San Francisco. It was very hard to stand out there. No one cared about ClickUp. We had no funding. We were making money ourselves in the early days, right? We didn't raise until after we had 17 million ARR. So we had to do these things at the beginning, and I really recommend you do too, because now during that time, if you're not raising, you're not just stuck on sales. You can find product market fit. You can meet people. You can learn. It's a big advantage. I also really believe in dinners. I really believe in dinners. And you can time them with these events. You can find 12 people, 14 people. You can take them out, spend $1,000, $1,500. This is high intent. This is how you get customers. Again, you just need to obsess over getting any customers you can. And the last thing you can do, we'll go deeper into it in a bit, but where are most people spending their time? On social media. So you need to start getting on social media. You don't have to be super big yet, but you need to start finding people. You need to start working at it and see what's resonating. So that's how you start from zero, right? These are some quick moves to start from zero, to get some customers, to get moving. These are the things we did. You got to be scrappy. You got to be moving. That's a big thing. But now going from 5 million to 100 million, that's a different game. That's a way different game. It is not even remotely the same, if I'm being honest with you. But this is where you have fun. This is where you really start to dive in. And the one thing I can really just high level say before I dive into the tactical parts is you need to make every team build a machine. And what I mean by that is one person should own something. If someone doesn't own every part of your business, it'll get dropped. There's no one to point a finger at, right? But when someone owns it, they own it. You know if they're good. You know if they're moving. So what I want you to do is find your leaders and have them build machines. And why do I say machines? Because it's predictable. You understand what's coming. It's not just depend on them. If they go take a vacation, it's all good. The machine still runs. And I'll show you what I mean by building machines. So the first machine that really helped ClickUp, and I understand that SEO is a bit outdated now or whatever you want to call it at this point, but I just want you to understand how we moved at this time frame, because this is one of the biggest plays that did get us from 5 to 100 million. We just dominated SEO. But the way we dominated SEO was we didn't know how to do it. I didn't have time to learn. At this point in time, after you're making 5 million in revenue, you need to invest in some killers. Someone who can really do whatever it is you need really well. So back then, we found this one SEO hire. And I'll tell you how I found him. I just stalked, again, the internet. And there was one company called Workfront. Workfront was always ranking. They always had a great blog. It just drove me insane. I could not figure out how to beat them. So rather than beat them, I hit this guy up. And I said, look, I don't know what they're paying you, but we need you over here at ClickUp. We'll give you equity, whatever it takes. I want to make that bet because I'm betting that if we're on top of everything, if people start seeing ClickUp, we can win. Our product is different. It's there, right? So this helped us a lot. We started ranking for the top 3 in project management. We got over 12 million in free clicks and 6 million monthly organic visitors. That's a lot, especially as you're coming in early. That's what really helped us build the machine. But we also should talk about it because, yes, SEO helped us win back then. I don't think it's going to help you win right now. I don't. And I think you know why. There's a little thing called A to the I that you might have heard of once or twice in any of these conferences, right? With AI, it is different. And they're calling it answer engine optimization. And what this means is, think about it. When you want to go find a new restaurant, when you want to go find a new software, when you want to go find anything, are you asking Google? You're damn sure not asking Bing. What you're doing is you're pulling up an LLM model, you're pulling up GPT, you're pulling up Claude, you're pulling up any of these tools, right? You're not searching, you're asking. And what are these agents going to tell you? Are you going to be on there? Are you going to be seen when an LLM is asked? That is a big question because that is very important. So if you're not in the answer, let me tell you how to win. We're doing very good at AEO right now, but it took time. When we first started, SEO dropped. Of course, we were freaking out a bit. I'll get out the way so you guys can get this slide, but this is a very important one to me. What you want to do is you want to build an AI engine, an engine that is running to build and answer questions for AI. It's funny that we're using AI to get AI to take our answers for AI. This is the world we're living in. This is how meta it's getting, but you got to be on top of it. So look, it's not but so much different from SEO. It's actually quite similar, but a few different things. Long-form blogs with a Q&A structure. These really hit right now. So you're still going to write the same way you did for SEO. But when you're writing this, it's time to maximize it a little more. So you got Sarah from Chart Mogul here. Data is really important. Original data, benchmark data, real data. You can't just go out here and bullshit anymore. You need real data and good data. I'll tell you how I'm getting it. I'm hiring a lot of these different journalists. There's a ton of journalists who don't have much work right now, right? So what I'm doing is I'm hiring them, and I'm getting them to go find the real data, one, because they have a little more value. They're ranked a little higher. They're a journalist. They have a name behind them. They have blogs behind them. They get seen more. And again, they're looking for work. So go get them, have them go on a mission to find data for your space. Now, you're going to go back and you're going to look at Reddit. You're going to look at Quora, where all these questions are getting answered and getting asked. And you're going to look at podcast notes. But the big thing you want to do is when you get these blog posts, when you get these Reddit answers, when you get this data, not only are you putting it on blogs, where do you think that a lot of these LLMs are pulling from? Who does Google own? YouTube. You need to be making videos on YouTube. And I've already tested this, so don't take the shortcut way. You can't just take a video on YouTube and use one of those AI characters. It's not going to work like that. What you need to do is you need to go on there and you need to get a real creator. Find someone who's made YouTube before, videos. And then go in there and say, okay, this is how I'm going to run it. This is how I'm going to work. And they take the blog post, they take the Reddit answers, they take the core answers, everything that you're writing and putting in a blog, have them say in a YouTube video. It's helping us rank a ton. And this is how you can use AI to get there. I promise you I'll tell you how to use AI. You can use AI in the same way. So you have an AI agent that's doing all the research. Should not be doing any research anymore, right? You have an agent that's scraping Reddit, Quora, all of that. The agent can also draft everything for you. I don't recommend you lean heavily on AI. I think you should still come in with a human and have them come in and edit it. And then you want to atomize, right? You want to break this down. So you've got all this data. Break it into LinkedIn posts. Break it into blogs. Break it into Reddit questions. Anywhere you can, just distribute it and get this out. So I'll let you guys take a picture a few more seconds. This is a very important way, but use AI. You can do it. If you want, at the end, I'm going to let you guys DM me. I'll give you all these strategies. The next thing you need to do is you need to build a media company. If you really want to get to $100 million, you think you can just do it by just building a great product? It's not the case. People need to know about you, right? And I'm going to give you my strategy. Again, you don't have to follow mine exactly, but I highly recommend you get at least one creator on payroll. I made that bet 2 years ago. Every company will have a creator on payroll in some way, shape, or form. Why? Because, again, we're always on our phones. Creators know it best. I'm not saying you have to get a creator, it costs a ton. You can find someone for $2K a month, $3K a month who's making 30 videos for you. But you need someone who becomes the face, someone who's doing this all the time. You need at least 15 employees, if you're this big, having people post consistently. I'm not saying it's be on Instagram and do videos and TikTok dancing, but they need to be posting on LinkedIn. They should be posting on X. They can do that. And then at some point in time, you should be testing different influencers. UGC, Ben is here with Creator Buzz. If you need any help with that, he's got your back. That's who I used to go out and get influencers, but you need to be testing influencers. Find some in your own network, build your own. There's so many ways you can do it. But as you're doing this, if you really want to build a media company, this is the hardest thing for all you to do. Stop talking about your product. When you pull out your phone, you're not looking to be sold to, right? We have ads all day long. If I was doing the content where I come out and just say, ClickUp is great, ClickUp is awesome, you should use ClickUp, you would scroll right past that every single time. If you go look at ClickUp's page, one, we have multiple pages. There's ClickUp Comedy. If you want to laugh, I got that for you. There's ClickUp Man on the Street. You want some street interviews? I got that for you. If you want memes, I got a ClickUp meme page. I'm making a page for everything. But the key is I stop talking about my product. And before I post, I do one of these three. If it's not one of the rule of three, I will not put it up. You're wasting your audience's time. If you want to post, your team is going to ask you to post a lot of ridiculous things on social media. You shouldn't do it. It needs to do one of the three things. It needs to add value, right? They need to get something from this. That's what people care about. They need to teach them something. I want you to really think about teaching them something. We don't have time to go back to school. No one here is trying to go back to school, but we all want to get better at our jobs. We're all competing. We all want to get better. That's why we go on LinkedIn. That's why we go on YouTube, right? So if my brand account or my employees are teaching you something, when you go to buy, of course you're going to think of me. I'm a thought leader to you. Why would you not buy from me? I've been teaching you. I've been giving you value. I've been helping you. And the last one, you don't have to do this. A lot of people don't like it, but I get millions of views. I get 200 million impressions every single month off just making people laugh. just making people laugh. Business is funny. Business humor is ridiculous. I love to dive into it, just make people laugh. But if you don't want to make them laugh, make them feel something. Do something really good, because when people feel something, they don't scroll, and they remember you more, and they resonate. So if you want to win on short form, I'll be real quick on this. I think short form is the easiest one to get into, right? It's what we all have. Long form is actually the most valuable if you can get it, but it's very hard to crack and it takes time. One, just get a creator. Just get a creator. Don't overthink it unless you have someone really good in your company who can handle that. Number two, you need to test everything. Test everything, because again, I can tell you that comedy will work. I can tell you that maybe news would work. I can tell you that talking head videos will work, but no one knows. Data tells you everything in marketing. Just start testing. And after you test, you want to use the ABCD formula. It's quite simple. All you want to do is after you do this test, something will stand out. Something will do well. One video will do really good. That video is your A now. Right? For me, it was these HR guys. I had these HR guys who were dancing. It was funny. It went so viral even in China, right? So, of course, I remade that. What did I do? I made the finance guys. I made the marketing guys. I made all these different videos in the same formula, because I want to get all the juice I can out of that video. I've done corporate jargon videos. That's easy. I can redo it. I can rerun it. But you can't just do A's, because you will run out. The juice always runs out of the squeeze of a really good video. People have seen enough. They get tired of it. People copy you. Now, B's. B is when you build off a current idea. So you look at something else been created. You look at another video that's doing really well, and then you dive into it and you put your own spin on it. C is capture a trend. You've all seen trends popping off on social media. There's so many different ones. When it happens, hop into it, but do not be that company who only does trends. And then D, this is the best part of social media if you want to win. Dare to break the rules. Have you watched social media? It's unhinged. The ones that make it to the top, they're unhinged. There's something you've never seen before. So when you have a random idea, or you see something crazy happen at the office, really experiment with the unconventional. Try something new, because people are tired of seeing the same shit on social media. They love seeing something new. So think of something fresh and bring it in. And when these do well, you move it to an A, and you keep that formula going. Now, Ben, I promise you I would do this for you. If you're not using Instagram trial reels, I have no idea why. It's probably the easiest gift I can give you right now. When you have trial reels, you get an opportunity to try different hooks of different videos, different starts of different videos, different headlines. So you take the one video, right? You take the one video, and you have a different hook. Then you have a different headline on top. Then maybe just a different version. But you need to be testing every time. One, now you know what works better for your ads. Two, you're going to get more views. You've already tested it, right? So you need to make sure you're trialing every video as a reel. If you don't do that, it's not going to, you can't hit the same way. And I'll tell you the real process is you put it up, and then you just change a few things, change a few edits. Your editor can do this in no time. And then from there, I've had videos that only had 30K, end up getting 20 million because I chose the right one. So if you don't see the results, I'll show you later in a different slide. Building a UGC machine. This is quite easy nowadays, but you need to have different creators talking about your content. This is very cheap, quite easy. You can find UGC creators for the low. There's also AI now. So you can test these different tools. I have like 3 you can try. I'm not saying they're hitting perfectly yet, but they are getting kind of scary, and they are driving me results. There's a lot of pages who are just doing this. So build a UGC machine. You need to build an EGC machine. And what I mean by that is employee growth content. So you need to have your employees making content all the time. I have Zeb Evans. I write most of his content. He's too busy. I have myself. If you guys know Kyle Coleman, massive influencer, great hire that we had. He pumps his own content out. But at any given time, you can see 25 plus ClickUp employees posting. We have, I think, 20 that have at least 20,000 followers. So it's a bunch of people are posting all the time. It doesn't have to be C-suite. It can be your sales solutions engineer. It can be anyone at the company, but make sure you have people posting. And then the last thing you want to do is, if you want to build this EGC machine, it's quite easy to do now with AI. It's insanely easy. So we have an agent at ClickUp, and what this agent does is it's mining my meetings for goals. I'm taking meetings every single day. And when I'm on LinkedIn, I don't know about you, I don't care about this AI slop. I don't care about this, oh, I did this. I want to see real things. What did you really do today? Like, what did you actually do? What decisions did you actually make? What hard call did you make? That's what I want to see. So what I have is an agent that's listening to all my calls. It's going through all the transcript data and saying, hey, Chris, I want to flag this to you. That was a sick moment. That was a banger thing you said right there. Let's turn that into a post. It drafts it up for me. Then I approve it. Bam. So something used to take 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes to write a LinkedIn post. Not that long at all now. Probably a couple minutes. I mean, it still gives me the draft. They're not always perfect. They're not there, but AI is only going to get better. So you should definitely start doing this, and I have one of these agents if you need. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So with Instagram, this is one of the rules I had. And again, I have this 80K video, but because I did a different test, one of them got 21 million. And once you take the best ones, then you go put it on TikTok, then you go put it on LinkedIn. So now you already have the research and the data is done. And it doesn't go to your followers. So you have to definitely be using Instagram Reels. But I think the big $100 million trap is, I think there's a few things that happen. One, people get afraid to really start spending properly if CAC payback goes off. You'll see why when I go to the next stage, but you're going to have to figure that out. And you can't stop spending on ads, right? At this stage, you're going to have to fight. You're fighting with many competitors. You're going to have to figure that out. Two, they hire the wrong team. I think it's very easy to say, I'm going to hire someone from Oracle, or I'm going to hire someone from Netflix. We did this. It doesn't mean they're going to fit your company. You're still in hyper-growth phase. A lot of these people have already made it. I'm not saying they're not good hires, but what we did as soon as we got the 100 million Series B, we just went and paid all these people, and they weren't the right people. And now I think you really need to focus on this new version of AI. See if you can do something more with AI, with agents. See if these people can really move and operate agents, because that's where the future is going. I'm going to dive more into that as well. And then 3, I think that a lot of people think as you're becoming an enterprise company, you got to go boring. You got to be more uptight, right? We want people to take us serious. That's not the case. Of our 15 biggest deals in 2025, 3 found us from social media, from our funny videos, including Gary Vee and VaynerMedia. So CEOs still like to laugh. Look at all you here. We still like to party and have fun. Like, they're not what you think. They're still cool, chill people. All right, I've only got a little bit of time left, so I need to roll. This is 100 million to 300 million. And at this point, it is I would almost say I'm not going to say it's easier. It's definitely always harder. Like Biggie said it right. More money, more problems is right. But I would say it's almost more direct than you think it is. When we went back and we broke it down and we looked at what did we do to win, it wasn't that crazy. It was just some really strong moves. So the first thing you got to do is you got to be everywhere, right? You want 300 million in ARR, you got to be everywhere. Everyone has to know you. To get to like 5, 10, whatever, 100, you can do it with the 12, 15 touch points. You might need 40 touch points to get these major companies, and even more than that. So 1, you've got to be everywhere. So how are you going to do that, right? You got to lean into ads. You got to lean into ads heavy. So for us, in that 5 to 100 million phase, we were really dialing our ads. And what you understand is, I should have made a slide on this, but I'll break it down for you. You need to spend big time, and you need to get your CAC payback down. So when you build that media machine, when you have these actors, when you have this recognizable brand, your CAC payback immediately goes down. Ours went down from 32 months to like 10 months. But we also started 8xing our spend, right? But it was coming back faster. But the way we did that was 3 buckets. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. It's very simple. 3 buckets. Who in the world knows your company the most, right? Your employees. So when you make ads, you're going to have 3 different ways you make ads. 1, you make them with your employees. I know that doesn't make sense. I know no one does it, but your employees know your brand the most. They're the most passionate. Put them on camera. Yes, they're not the best actors, but they'll figure it out. That's bucket 1, your employees. Bucket 2 is going to be actors or creators. Why? They're already good on camera. They get it. They do this for a living. Of course they're going to be good. That's bucket 2. And then bucket 3, this is the only one that everyone does, hire an agency. Yes, you should hire an agency, but don't just hire an agency. They're working for 20 or 30 other companies. If they're good, they're not going to care about you that much. They're going to make the best they can, but if they're not competing, they won't win. So what I do is I have all 3 of these buckets at any time competing, and I'm switching it out. I'm moving quickly. So when one employee does really well, fun fact, of all the agencies we've paid tons of money in agencies, tons of money as actors. For some reason, I'm still the number 1 ad we've ever had. I'm an employee. I care about the brand. I'm passionate. You can probably feel that. That's what happens, and I'm still the number 1 ad that we've ever paid for. Then the second bucket is your actors. Use them, but switch them out. When one's not working, try a new one. Always be testing. Always be moving. Same with the agencies. Let them know, hey, I'm testing 2 of you. If one's not working, I'm moving to the other one. Make them win your business. The next thing you need to do is, a lot of people sleep on, is your pricing. Your pricing is very important. It's massive. You need to test it quarterly, maybe more than that. I would also say raise prices on your new customers, but grandfather in the old ones. And what I mean by that is you can raise prices, but a lot of times your other customers will get unhappy. So if you raise prices on everyone, you can do that every now and again, but be ready because you will have a little Reddit thread coming out and people will be upset. But I also think you should package for the buyer you want. We closed NVIDIA last year. NVIDIA is a massive client. That was a really big deal for us, right? One of the biggest companies in the world. But that wasn't easy. We had to really think about the client we wanted. So we changed our pricing, but we also changed what we give you, what we package you. There's a Tiger team all designed just for NVIDIA. If they want something, they get it. Fun fact, the way we won their business, it was us versus Asana. We won because they needed 1 core feature. And they're like, look, we know it's like Thanksgiving and holidays, so we'll get back to you after, and then you can build the feature. We had our team that was in Europe go and build that early. And they built it we delivered it right before Thanksgiving Day. They chose us. That's how we won the deal. And then the last thing I'll say is watch the data, not your gut. It's very easy to go out here and say, oh, like my gut thinks we should raise pricing. Always listen to data. But don't ask me. We have Chris from Value Ships right here. He's who I get all my advice from. If you have any pricing questions, he can help you there. The next thing you need to do is show up where authority lives, right? Like show you're becoming a bigger company. Show you're there. Why do you think I'm here on stage? I like to party, so I'm here for that too, Leo. I like to have fun. I like to meet people, network. But I'm here because I want to show authority. I want you to see me. Now you understand ClickUp a little better. Even if you don't know me, I'm not going to sell you why I'm up here. But now you have a little bit closer relationship to me. If you meet me at the bar, you know me, you understand me. You know you could hit me up. We could talk about it. So being on stage, being in front of people is massive. Be on podcasts. Now people get to see you. They understand your personality. They put a human face to the brand. Be everywhere you can. Buy billboards. I'm not saying buy Super Bowl commercials. I made that mistake. Don't go buy a Super Bowl commercial. It was $7.5 million. Not down the drain. It was cool. We got some exposure, but don't do that. But I do think you should buy billboards at some point. When you're getting this big, people need to see who you are. They need to see you on that scale. I don't have exact data, number metrics for you. It's kind of hard to get the ROI on that. But I always see sales go up shortly after billboards. So show authority everywhere they look. Last few things I'll run into. I know I'm right on time. At ClickUp, right, we have around 1,000 employees. Every employee is running, this is actually outdated, they now run about 7 to 10 agents. 7 to 10 agents. And I want to give you some examples of that because that number is only going up. If you really want to win, your company has to be using agents in a big way. So we have 5 agents, that are some of my top agents. I'll give you as many as you want if you want to hit me up afterwards. But the bug goblin, right? AI is great at getting bugs. We don't need a bug team anymore. It can run through the product every single day, 24/7. It can keep moving. It can find bugs. It catches, it triages. Or if I find a bug, why would I go let a teammate know? Now I can let the agent know, and it creates a task. The next one is ask people. If you have an HR team, this takes care of everything. You give it all the data. You don't have to ask HR for anything anymore. I have a project PM campaign, right? So anytime I'm running a campaign, a product launch, it's the same thing every single time. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. The same people get tagged to make the videos. The same people get tagged to write the copy. So all I need to do is update with the new landing page, update with everything else, and it builds it out for me. Same with social media. If someone needs a post, they don't need to tag me. They tag my agent, and it brings it into me. We have Webinar Wally, which builds our webinars. There's so many more I can give you, but you need to have a lot of agents. And what I want to say about this is we might as well address it. We're all going to talk about it. Last Thursday, I was in Spain. We had to cut 22% of our company. Not proud of that, not happy of that, but that's where things are going, right? You don't need as many junior developers. You don't need as many junior customer service reps. It was a very tough moment for me, very tough to talk about. But if people are looking to have these changes and want to see where future's going, I do see this as happening. Like I do see Meta, I do see Cloudflare, and sadly we were definitely having to move a little shorter because we have so many agents that are running. And if employees aren't adding the value over the agents, then you have to make that change in sub. But the last point why I bring that up to you is because if you really want to make it to 300 million, if you really want to get to this level, this is the part that no one really talks about, you have to make hard calls. You have to do things that hurt. Business is war, it's tough. Sometimes you have to cut a team that you spent years building. Sometimes you have to cut a product that you worked really hard on because it's not driving value. But the key is you make it fast. The key is you have conviction and you move quick. Because you wait, you'll end up like every other company and you move too slow. So those are my things for me. I know I gave you a lot of stuff. I only had 30 minutes to tell you how we got to 300 million. If you want anything, you have any questions, if you need anything, I'm very accessible on LinkedIn. I'm very easy to reach out to. You can hit me up here, follow me, ask me questions. I'll be at the parties. I'll be having a great time. SaaStanak, thank you so much. So happy to be here.